It took me all of 16 years to muster the courage. I'd never been one to turn my back on responsibility, but sometimes in life it takes you a while to realise what is or what should be yours. The time was right for me, although I was under no delusion that for her, the timing would more than likely be way off. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Why should it have been? I would have needed the answers a long time ago too. I'd thought about her every day for 16 years, and that wasn't just to make myself feel better or to rid a guilty conscience. If anything, it actually compounded my guilt, but I wouldn't be human if I blocked it from my mind. I always imagined what she would look like. To be there in the flesh with her was the most surreal but yet the most amazing moment of my life. I was given this one and only chance to see if I could make a difference, to see if it wasn't all too late. If anything, I knew there would be curiosity at the very least. I could work with that for the time being. You liar. What a load of shit you're dribbling. You couldn't give a shit about her. It's always been you. You in the foreground and everyone else don't exist. That's not true. I don't need you anymore. Problem with us Brits, see, is we don't get to see much of the UV rays. So when it comes out, we tend to go a little bit mad and end up getting burnt like witches.
You'll need a factor much higher than that by the look of your skin. Quite fair. Weird.
The biggest regret in my life is that I wasn't strong enough to face the music. To have turned my back because I was too scared, too afraid to have been honest. The truth is, I probably would have hurt a lot of people with my honesty. But scars heal and we could have all moved on.
Can you just let me out? I need to get out.
Give me a chance, let me stop first.
What's wrong? Carly!
You were scared of everything. That's you all over. Spineless Jack. That's what she thinks you are, spineless. It's a delicate situation. You couldn't face the music, so screw everyone else. Now you want to know because here is a ready-made family. Oh, and let's not forget the other reason you want to see her after all these years. The biggest regret in my life is that I wasn't strong enough to face the music. I knew she was being looked after well. Her mother met a lawyer and she was self-sufficient with her business. I would never have to worry about her well-being. She was better off without back then. And now we both deserve another chance and turn her life upside down. Still, you got a nice trip to Australia out of it, didn't you? I was so proud of her. It was obvious she was going to be unsure at the start, but then slowly she allowed me to communicate with her more. But you couldn't explain properly, could you? You couldn't just come right out and say it, could you? I think she already knew. She's a very astute and sensitive woman. It seemed like she already knew. She just wanted her gutless father to tell her, that's all. She knew my reasons. Something inside me couldn't tell her straight away. I started to feel the same feelings as before when I found out her mother was pregnant. I physically couldn't do it. I looked her in the eyes and I even felt she would be fine with it, but I just didn't have the balls. Oh, bless. Oh, this is getting so predictable now. Whether I did it in the beginning or last thing is irrelevant anyway. What matters is that I did do it. I did say it. She may now think you're ashamed because it took you all these years and you still couldn't do it until you waved goodbye. Not a very good example for your kids, is it? She knew my reasons.
She thought that her stepfather had introduced her, but felt he was unnecessary.
She eventually opened up to me and started speaking more on our 16th day together. She told me that her stepfather had been pretty good to her, but felt he was unnecessarily strict at times. And this was when she thought about me the most, wanting to believe that there was someone else out there who might understand her, someone who would at least listen and not judge her. She said she felt different, quite often in a world of her own, feeling lonely and in a dark place at times. Oh, now I see where this is going. You can't just get to the point, can you? You're so lame.
So are you looking forward to uni then?
Not really. So where's Peter from?
South Africa?
Ah, he must be a good friend to travel all the way from London to come and support you.
Yeah, he is. But he's always wanted to see Australia too.
Is that it?
Sorry?
Mum was right, you're not very forthcoming, are you?
I want to be. That was the whole point of this trip. First and foremost to see you, but to also get the chance to speak with you.
Well, speak!
I have been. But you've got to cut me some slack too. So far all you've been is responsive, and not even that most of the time.
Why should I speak? I'm not the one that has to do the explaining here. I've given you enough chances over the past 2 weeks.
I'll be back in a minute. In the meantime, I don't think you should have any more of this.
Giving me rules now, are you?
She was glad that I'd made the effort and tried one last time to meet her. The last time you tried was a very half-hearted attempt. You chickened out pretty much straight away. It was from this point, outside on her parents' veranda, that I felt we'd made a connection. A bond that I always knew may be there. Just all the way on the other side of the world, and you'd never even met her. I'm trying more and more every day to be more positive. And do you know what? I'm not letting you win. You've systematically brought me down time and time again. Well, it's not going to happen anymore.
Oh, Jack.
I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you anymore.
The bond between a father and his daughter is a special one. So cliched. I have never felt anything like it. I miss her so much each day she's not with me. She said she was going to try and visit. Maybe I'll visit her again before that happens. Maybe her parents couldn't afford it this year. Oh, please get real, they're filthy rich. The truth is they don't want you near her, with your fucked up and warped emotions and thoughts. She felt we had a lot in common. We had similar ideas about the world, about people, about life. More similar than you'd care to admit, huh? I want to protect her. So how did you tell her then, Jack? She guessed. You couldn't tell her. Oh my God, after all the rehearsals and secret meetings and conversations in your head, the beautiful daughter had to guess. Honestly, when you get to know me, we can make up for those 16 years. I'm a really, really loving person. I can be a really, really loving dad to you as well. I get cheesy, corny. Look, let's just start from the beginning, okay? Forget the past. No, you can't. You know, back in London, okay?
I knew you two were together.
Look, Carly, we were waiting for the right time to tell.
16 years. 16 years and no contact. Do you know how painful that is for a child?
Look, Carly, don't you think it was painful for me too? I wanted to tell you, but she just wouldn't.
It would have been okay. I don't care what you are. What bothers me is that you all kept it from me. I just wanted to hear it from you. But you've said nothing since you've arrived.
How did she handle it? Did she do you proud? Not very well, but it wasn't because of who I am, more because you never had the guts to tell her. Even after 3 weeks of bonding with her, you're such a sad loser. But she was mature enough to get over it so quickly. This scenario plays over and over and over in your head all the time, doesn't it? You don't get a moment's peace. It will haunt you forever, huh? So articulate and passionate, your daughter. Would you have taught her a great deal, do you think? What the hell do you know about passion? You've always been the negative parasite clinging onto my back, verbalising your hateful shit. Don't you ever get tired? You say the sweetest things. Pretend all you like, Jack, it's never gonna stop. If I take the pills, it will. Her eyes are just like mine. The rest she definitely got from her mother. She's a beautiful woman. Bit radical with her views on life, though, isn't she? Been a bit brainwashed by her stepfather, wouldn't you say, your daughter? Tradition set fast and solid. Takes a brave person to break that mould. She got screwed up views from her stepfather and a lifelong illness from you. my daughter. She even thinks like me. Where is she now, Jack? She told me she's moved into student accommodation in Brisbane. She's having her good days and bad days.
And I'm not scared.
She can't get away from it, can she? Wants to see me again. She feels alone. Her friends don't speak with her much anymore. I know what it's like to be alienated. I need to help. I've got to see her. You're too ill. She'll hate you for it. Carly will see you at your worst. Do you really think she wants to foresee into the future and witness her destiny? She can't get away from her fate. She can be told. I can explain it all. That's what she thinks are spineless.
Well, come on in, why don't you?
It's a lovely day. Why don't you go for a swim? Do you mind if I stay?
May as well.
Okay. Nice pool.
She can lead a normal life. It's different now. If the side effects of the meds don't drive her mad, and if they don't, the voices certainly will. I've taken mine now. Soon you'll piss off. Soon you'll be no one again, you negative piece of shit. Better get my last words in then, huh? I know we'll see each other again. And I will be better equipped to help her this time. I won't turn my back on her again. I want you to always be honest with yourself, okay? It was different back in my day. I could have been stronger.
Yeah, I know. I'll see you in London.
Yeah? Thank you. And I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I know she forgives me. She told me. Carly can stay here in London with me. Her mother may be ashamed of her now, but I will understand her more than anyone could possibly. And we'll take care of her. Give her all the comfort she needs whilst enduring this mental torture. Find her the right doctors and the right kind of help. Help I never had. I will have my family back. This time I am ready.
In my heart, there lives a song in my heart.
You're schizophrenic.
Unravels. And I'm not scared.
I'm vomiting because of you. Because of the sound of your voice, not because of my decision to abstain from my medication.
The deluded freak lies more than ever. Will you truly get to a point in your life where you'll just be honest?
The nausea will subside. It's a small price to pay compared to the rest of my problems when I'm on the meds.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. It's ironic, really, isn't it, that you always choose a tragic moment in your life to come off them again.
Tragic? What's tragic?
The fact that you spent almost a whole year in Australia and you must have seen your daughter, at least 5 times perhaps. That truly hit home, didn't it?
She was very busy. What with her studies, her family and her boyfriend.
And little but no time for a homosexual daddy.
You know she doesn't have a problem with that. She was the one that lured it out on me.
Shame that, wasn't it? Still, you've never had much self-esteem and confidence in yourself, have you? You pitiful man.
Fuck off. You're only back temporarily. You do know that, don't you?
When will you stop trying to fight me? Whether I'm here in voice or at the back of your psyche, I'm always there, dormant. You just don't get it, do you? You don't even have a clue where to begin. How on earth do you think you'll ever be able to cope without those pills?
I'll continue without them. Just to listen to the tone in your voice when you slowly diminish from my head without the aid of chemicals.
And the chemicals in your head. Do you think they're just going to repair and heal themselves alone? So come on. We haven't had a good chat in almost a year. There's a lot to catch up on. Why do you think Carly had no time for her father this time? Well, she didn't last time, really, but let's not split hairs. Come on, spill.
We may have had little time together, but the time we did have was quality time.
Quality? She never introduced you to the boyfriend. You hardly spoke a word about your shared mental illness. That can hardly be deemed as a close, quality relationship, surely.
You're a vindictive fucker.
Yeah, sure. Save the abuse until after. Do you think she likes Jack?
Peter! She's always liked Jack.
Peter.
Jack's given no cause for her to dislike him.
Maybe he just doesn't like the idea of two daddies.
We've gone over this 100 times. She has no fucking problem with us.
You spend a lot of time together, you and Jack.
Peter!
Lounging around on the beach. Nude ones too, you dirty homos.
What? And you're not? You're part of me, aren't you?
Oh, just titillate.
She was more than likely ashamed, embarrassed of her illness. Apparently her mother still refuses to come to terms with it, so that doesn't exactly help Carly feel less ashamed.
And the stepfather?
Won't speak about it full stop. She hasn't come to terms with it. She wouldn't go on the medication to start off with, and then suddenly became very ill. Tired, she couldn't sleep due to the voices.
Are you frightened? Bitch? Are you scared? Around it never stops the magic.
She's had her boyfriend living with her for some time, and apparently he does his best to ease the burden, but it's hard. As well you know.
Maybe the boyfriend resents you. What? That's why you never had an introduction. Doesn't want to look at the person who bestowed this freaky illness on his darling girlfriend.
As long as he takes care of her, doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't it? I would take a very long, hard look at that. He's probably the reason you hardly get any time to be with her.
It didn't matter how much I saw her, really. I had Jack with me all the way.
Peter!
Things didn't work out much for you both when you arrived back in London, though, did they? So someone has been telling me on the grapevine.
I'm going to say sorry to you.
Why are you saying sorry?
Well, for calling you peculiar. We haven't had one dispute since we've been here, and I wanted to keep it that way. You're not going to talk, even though I'm mature enough to apologise to you.
I don't want to talk about that.
Huh?
I don't want to talk about that.
Do you have an apology for me?
Not really.
Floating over you like a bomb.
We're taking it in small steps.
But living apart now. Weird that you've spent all these weeks alone, and yet this is the first time you've called upon my help.
I haven't called upon no one's fucking help.
Why do you think I'm here, you fucking idiot? Jesus, I don't know where I get my intelligence from. It's certainly not you, is it? I suppose you and
Peter.
Jack had many occasions to reflect on your relationship back in Australia, didn't you? Maybe the lack of conversation got you both thinking.
Now you're talking bollocks.
I would hazard a guess that perhaps you've been a bit too wrapped up in trying to play happy gay families, when in actual fact it's never going to happen. Jack saw that from the offset.
Peter!
You, however, still wandering around in La La Land, convincing yourself that everything will work out just the way you planned. Newsflash, not everyone wants to be around you. I'm the only one you have right now, mate.
Don't call me mate. You know I hate that fucking term.
Mate. G'day, mate. Gay daddy, mate. Mate who has no mates. Norman Bates.
You're not annoying me anymore. Now I know you're just a twat who acts like a child.
Yes, that's right. I'm your inner child, just bursting to get out and act immature and fuck around without a care in the world. Do you still meet up with Jack in Soho?
Peter.
Why do you both frequent the gay bars when you hated the scene with a passion? Oh, is Jack looking around again?
Peter. It's neutral ground.
Yeah, a place where you can get a good eye on the available men on offer, whilst you poor old sod, all you can do is look on with self-pity, knowing full well he's slipping right through your fingers and into some other bloke's bed.
You really are the worst side of me, aren't you? It's not even funny anymore.
I should hope not. I'd take losing everyone you've ever cared about very seriously if I were you. Oh, wait a minute. I am you, aren't I? How long do you think your meetings with
Peter.
Jack will last until the relationship really dissipates? You're grasping hold of false hope. You're seeing a glimmer of light where it's flickering and running out fast. You started to lose him in Australia.
So, is everything okay between you two?
So, I suggested this trip back to London just so that we can reconnect, see family and friends, and see how we feel. You know, see if I am missing it as much as I thought I was. I mean, it would be nice if we were on the same sound sheet, but quite clearly we're not. But, I'm not asking for the world, just for that little bit of support.
So, what are you suggesting? You go back
I'm
alone?
not saying that I definitely want to.
Look, just relax. Go to London, see your friends, see London from a different perspective. You know, don't argue about it, guys.
Yeah, otherwise it will be a one-way ticket.
She couldn't wait for you to leave her house that day. She was always awkward when around you. I told you, you only stand to remind her of what's in store. She looks at you and she sees a more sad version of herself projected in the future.
She wouldn't have bothered inviting us around at all if that was the case.
There's the boyfriend, though. Told you he may have her best interests at heart, but does he want to share her? I don't think so, not even with her schizo father. Schizo and gay? I don't think that's something a normal young man like him would have been able to swallow. Or maybe she kept away from him because she was afraid that Daddy might come on to him. We all know what you homos can get like after a few glasses of wine.
You're fucking sick. You're a homo too, by the way. You do know that, don't you?
Only by proxy, it's not the same. What are you going to do now then, my poor friend? All by yourself for the first time in a long while. Oh, I feel a song coming on.
Why don't you just piss off?
Well, you know I can't now. I've got to see you through these rough periods. A shoulder to cry on and other cliches. Don't see anyone else offering themselves up for the job.
Jack and I are spending time apart
Peter.
to see whether it'll strengthen the relationship. We haven't called it a day. You should know all this anyway.
It's over in his head. You should know that. If you're not prepared to help yourself, there's only so much someone can do and endure. You left him with no choice.
He supported my decision to come off the meds.
Reluctantly. Couldn't you see that? God, you're such a fool. He'd got to the point where he couldn't argue anymore or voice an opinion. We both know that you're as stubborn as me. We both have different ways of expressing ourselves, but we're both just as pig-headed. You didn't even listen to him in the last few days before moving back to the UK. You went on all those long walks in the rainforests to try and get it all in perspective, and you just kept harping on about your problems. It got to a point where you didn't even include Jack into the equation,
Peter.
like he wasn't part of your life anymore. Me, and fucking me, that's all you're about. That's all you'll ever be about.
That's not true. I listened to him many times.
But you didn't read between the lines, did you? You can't even remember the conversation he had with your precious daughter, can you?
What are you talking about?
You see, there you go. The last day you both took a walk in the forest, in the hinterlands, your favourite place to chat. He told you that he'd had a one-on-one with Carly.
No, he didn't. He said that he tried to, if I remember correctly.
Well, you don't. That's the point these days. He spoke with her one evening, on the phone, the night she declined your offer for a meal at Surfers Paradise.
You're a bloody liar.
He told you right there in the forest. He went an awfully long way about it just to avoid crushing your feelings, but eventually he came out with it.
He never did.
Shall I remind you? Okay, I'll do that for you, shall I? She told him right there and then that she needed to back away from you because she's frightened that everyone and everything around her will come crashing down with a bang. She suffered from immense feelings of anxiety whenever she thought about you. Quite often she suffered from very lucid dreams and visions of you hurting her in various scenarios whilst off your medication. Her boyfriend convinced her to go back on her meds, hence the reason she was compos mentis when you visited her for the last time around her house. She could see much clearer then that you were going to be a hindrance.
Schizophrenic. I'm not schizophrenic.
So you guys missing London yet?
No. Yeah, people. Here we go again. No, I'm just going to leave it there, okay?
Well, I mean, all you need to do is plan yearly visits and make sure friends and family stay over here from time to time. Easy.
Well, it would be if I could work full-time and could afford that.
You wouldn't want to work full-time anyway. You told me that you enjoy this semi-retirement.
Yeah, but that was in my capacity as an administrator, which I hate. If I could work with animals or do something less grueling than that, then I would be fine. It's just that I'm not going to work 9 to 5 in some office, all the politics that go on in an office, doing that kind of bollocks again. Sorry, no way, I didn't come to Australia to do that again, no thanks.
Well, I've got to go, guys. I'm meeting Cody in the park in 10 minutes, so...
Ooh!
Oh, shut up. Come on, doggies, let's go. Bye.
You couldn't ask her that day, could you? Ask her to go back to London with you. You knew that she would reject it, didn't you? You knew it was over, right there and then.
I know what you're like. Don't think for 1 minute you're fooling me. You're the negative side of me, the paranoid, nasty, shrewd side of me that wouldn't otherwise surface if I was feeling...
If you were feeling what? Secure, sure about life and what you want from it? I thought it was much better when you weren't on the meds. Somehow I don't think you're right in the head off these pills. But you'll just keep on, won't you? Convincing yourself that you know what you're doing. Jack hasn't texted you or called you back in a while, has he?
Peter.
Probably dancing away in some seedy gay club in Soho now.
It's 7 a.m. in the morning.
But don't you remember your through the night and early clubbing days? Shit, you're getting old, aren't you? Older, less wiser, less attractive, more sick, losing everything to gravity. And to add on top of all that, no daughter with you and no long-term partner anymore. Could it get any worse?
Yeah, okay. You win. He hasn't called me in a while. But I've got a plan, you see.
Dear me, you're getting all strategic on me now.
I've been planning it for a while now, see.
Gets more intriguing.
And this plan, it doesn't involve you. But I know I've lost my way. Lost everything that's ever meant anything to me. But at least I know I loved every moment while it lasted. At least I know I had it. At least I know I seldomly allowed you to surface with your macabre, sinister outlook on life, potentially ruining what bit of fun and hope I did have for a time. I can go knowing I beat you once and for all.
Crying out for attention again.
No. Not this time.
Peter.